Rabbi Daniel Zion. Daniel Zion was born in the Greek city of Salonika on August 3, 1883, and passed away in Israel on November 13, 1979. May his memory be blessed. He was raised in a strict Orthodox Jewish home, where the study and practice of the Jewish law was extremely important to Daniel's family. Daniel Zion studied at the rabbinical school, Beit Yosef, and by the age of 17, finished her rabbinical studies, and later also became a cantor, one who sings and leads liturgical prayer in Jewish religious services. He was known in the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community of Salonika as a man who loved and feared God, a faithful advocate for the Jewish law and faith. From the age of 20, Rabbi Daniel dedicated himself to work in the Jewish community and placed a lot of emphasis on aiding the poor and helpless. He dedicated his work in serving and helping others. In 1950, Rabbi Daniel Zion was sent by Rabbi Yaakov Meir, the Chief Rabbi of Salonika, to serve as a cantor in the synagogue in Sofia, Bulgaria. Later, he was also appointed a rabbi in Sofia and taught on the Jewish law. He established charitable organizations in order to feed and care for the poorest members of the community. Daniel's work and passion to serve his people became evident to the Jewish community of Bulgaria, among whom he became more than a rabbi or a cantor, but also someone who was highly respected and loved for all his work with the community. Later, in 1931, Rabbi Daniel was asked to serve as Av Beit Din, the head of the Supreme Rabbinical Court of Bulgaria. This great honor, which few rabbis received, gave Daniel enormous authority as well as the status of Chief Rabbi of the Bulgarian Jewry. According to a number of testimonies, in the beginning of the 1930s, Rabbi Daniel started reading the New Covenant, New Testament, with a Jewish Orthodox perspective, where around this time, a most amazing event took place. While in prayer, Rabbi Daniel had a vision of a glowing man. When the vision faded, he decided to ask his friend, Metropolitan Stefan, from the Orthodox Church, what he should do. Stefan told him that if it happened again, to say to the man, "Here I am." The rabbi agreed, and when the glowing man appeared, Daniel said, "Here I am. Who are you?" "Ani Yeshua," the glowing man replied, meaning, "I am Jesus." Stephen advised Rabbi Daniel Zion to remain a rabbi and head of the Supreme Rabbinical Court of Bulgaria. He could believe Yeshua was the Messiah of his people, but at the same time continue to observe the law and the commandments, preserving his Jewish identity in full. From this experience, a deep friendship, love, and respect grew between these two leaders. During World War II, during the Holocaust, Rabbi Daniel actively tried to stop the persecution of his people in Bulgaria. This strengthened his faith that his first duty was to do anything possible to save his people from death. He understood that as a religious Jewish leader, it was his obligation to go and plead to the authorities for the life of his people. Rabbi Zion was prepared to sacrifice himself, his honor, and his livelihood in order to save his people. He felt God was calling him to warn the authorities against persecuting the Jewish people. He believed it was his duty to turn to the political parties for assistance because they could significantly relieve the burden on his beloved people, whether partially or fully. Rabbi Zion did all within his power to influence head figures like governmental officials to prevent the deportation of the Bulgarian Jews to the death camps. He did all he could in order to reach the Bulgarian Tsar, Boris III, in order to warn him not to be influenced by these dark forces, but to trust only in the one and eternal God, and take on more serious consequences which will come for him and for his country when persecuting the Jewish people. In the end, Rabbi Zion, together with the leaders of the church, courageously and repeatedly risked their lives and saved 50,000 Bulgarian Jews during the Holocaust. After World War II, Rabbi Daniel made Aliyah, immigrated to Israel with his family in 1948. He established a synagogue in Jaffa called Sharei Shamayim, the Gates of Heaven, in the city of Jaffa. In 1950, the rabbinical court in Tel Aviv began to receive word of his faith in Yeshua. Then later published their verdict that Rabbi Daniel Zion has lost his mind based on his beliefs and sermons on Yeshua. On September 14, 1952, Rabbi Daniel Zion spoke on the Voice of Israel, Israel official radio broadcasting station, regarding his faith. His speech was in Hebrew, and he spoke of his beliefs in the Messiah and gave his testimony of the divine revelation he had experienced. The rabbi's speech on the radio was a significant event, as this was the first time a Jewish person who believed in Yeshua testified before all of Israel through the radio of his faith in Yeshua. In the Yom Kippur War on October 6, 1973, Rabbi Daniel, at the age of 90, was brought to the synagogue on a stretcher to pray for the soldiers and the citizens of Israel. This was the last time Rabbi Daniel entered his synagogue. Some years after the Yom Kippur War, at the age of 96, Rabbi Daniel Zion died. May his memory be blessed. The announcement to the Bulgarian community described his courage in delivering the Jews of Bulgaria during World War II. He was called the shepherd and a hero of the Bulgarian Jews, and the community did not forget him. Rabbi Daniel Zion is buried in the Jewish cemetery in Holon, Israel, and his tombstone bears the words, Rabbi Daniel Zion, Chief Rabbi of the Bulgarian Jews.